So every time I talk to a home improvement owner or a sales manager, I hear the same lines. The leads that we're generating just aren't converting. But in most cases, it's not the lead, it's your rep, or actually more accurately, it's your rep's script. Because if the homeowner was interested enough to submit their information, then they probably didn't suddenly stop caring. Something went wrong between that moment and the moment that your team picked up the phone. So let's break down exactly what that could be and how to fix it. Now, let me be clear. Yes, some leads are garbage. You have wrong numbers, spam, tire kickers. Look, that's normal. But if your team is consistently missing the leads that are, from Google ads, direct from your website, or they filled out a form 30 seconds ago, and they're still not converting, then it's probably not a lead issue. It's more than likely a conversion issue. And the most common cause of this is the script itself. So here's an example that you've probably heard hundreds of times by now. Your rep is on an opening call with a new lead and the homeowner asks, hey, can you just give me a rough price? And what happens? Your rep freezes and stumbles through some generic line like, we'd have to come out to give you guys a quote. And from there on out, the conversation is super cagey, or worse, the prospect just hangs up. So why is that? Well, it's because the homeowner feels like it was a dodge or a cop-out that your rep kind of said. So it's not because, they were a bad lead, but instead it's because we didn't know how to answer that question with confidence. And this issue will go far beyond just a pricing objection. Sometimes your rep will skip qualifying, sometimes they sound scripted and robotic. Other times, they're too casual. There's no urgency, no structure, and then the call kind of ends before it ever really began. And the unfortunate reality is that many reps don't want to accept the fact that most leads don't drop because they weren't serious. They drop because your team didn't know how to keep them in the conversation. So therefore, the first 20 seconds of the call in most cases is everything. That's where you're in control. That's where you're able to differentiate your company from the crowd. And that's where trust is either built or it's broken. And yet, despite this, most scripts that I've come across open with something like, hi, this is Dave calling from ABC Remodeling just to follow up on your inquiry, right? And that sounds like the last 3 contractors that they spoke to. There's no pattern interrupt, there's barely any tone, there's no energy, and therefore there's no actual reason to stay on the line. And if you don't win that first 20 seconds, then you can't win the rest of the call. But today, rather than looking at the deeper strategies, let's just simplify script writing for you. So a good call script will have 5 jobs. 1, to buy time, because you can't set someone if you don't have a line to get past that, I can't talk right now, stall, right? The second is to build trust, which comes with your tone, pacing, and the clarity that makes you sound like a pro. The third is to uncover the need, making sure that you get the homeowner talking about why they actually reached out in the first place. 4 is to position the visit, ensuring that we frame the appointment as valuable and not just a free quote. And the 5th is to create urgency, making the visit feel important right now, not next month. And if your script isn't hitting all 5 of these, then I'm sorry to say that you're leaving deals on the table. And here's where that actually becomes expensive, because let's say you're running ads on Facebook or you're buying lead aggregator leads, maybe they're sweepstake leads. Yes, those leads are going to be harder than your common PPC or referral lead, sure. But with the right scripting, we work with companies that are converting them at 30 to 40%. And yet I see other companies cut out these lead sources entirely, not because the leads are bad, but because the rep didn't know how to handle the call. So when the homeowner asks for pricing or tells you you're just browsing or says, wait, what is this about again? Instead of knowing how to navigate it, your rep fumbles around the conversation and the prospect ends that conversation quickly and politely. And in so many companies, the marketing gets blamed when it was a training issue all along, which is why you've tried 3 different agencies and you've had the same issue every single time. So here's the fix for you. Rather than asking yourself which leads are converting, start asking why didn't that one specifically convert? Then pull a handful of calls from this week, and not just the wins, but the near misses as well, and ask yourself, did the rep build urgency? Did your rep actually ask a single open-ended question? Did they know what to say when the homeowner hesitated? And trust me, you'll start to spot a pattern very quickly. And then once you do, you can now coach it. You can now adjust the script, and you can now protect your ad spend as well as your appointment rate. So if you've been blaming your leads lately, look, I get it. But before you pause that campaign or cut that vendor, ask yourself, Did we actually give that lead a chance to convert? Did we say the right thing, and did we say it at the right time? Because in this market, as we all know, you can't afford to waste leads that you've already paid for. Instead, you need to fix your scripts and train your team. And the same leads that at one point you said were junk might actually turn into some of your best deal sources. So guys, if this helped, subscribe, stick around, because I'll be breaking down sales systems every week to help you guys get the most out of the leads that you already have without having to spend more.